At the time of recording this, it's the 7th of November, and I'm really looking forward to the winter in a way I don't think I always used to. Really, I used to hate the winter growing up. Christmas itself was always good, that's always a pocket of childish glee. But the rest of the winter used to depress me, I think, to the extent I began to wonder if I had seasonal affective disorder. I know England is pretty grey all year round, but it's much more barren in the winter and colder, and there's less sun, there's no flowers and leaves, and suddenly nobody about in the parks or wherever. I can remember being about 18 at uni, and there was this big tree right outside the flat window, and I can remember just watching it every day because it was behind the TV, and through the autumn the leaves slowly turning more and more yellow and then brown, and then watching as they all fell from the branches until there were none left, and just where I was at that time in my life, that felt a big deal for me, symbolically I guess. In many ways I was kind of afraid of the winter, because I was afraid of feeling sad, and I felt the winter brought that for me, which I guess is what makes it so interesting for me to suddenly find myself excited about the winter this year. In truth, there's not a great deal to be excited about logically. Christmas itself doesn't really excite me anymore, where as a kid I could barely contain myself about it. I think that kind of just wears off as you get older and older. The festivity loses some of its magic, I think, in a way, and I'm not really bothered about presents anymore, but I do still like it and enjoy it, and I love seeing Christmas lights on people's houses. Not that I'd bother to do them myself, but I love how incredibly tacky a lot of them look, particularly the red and green lights. Like, I don't much like the white, neat-looking ones that try really hard to look smart. I prefer the ones that are clearly very tacky, and there's something nice about that. I love seeing that. I love eating mince pies. I love a lot of Christmas, but I'm kind of not excited, slightly indifferent about it, or in some cases, like with shops playing the same 50 odd songs on a loop endlessly in every shop everywhere for the entirety of December. That I do hate. There's very few songs on that list I actually like. I guess the Fairy Tale of New York's alright, the John Lennon one's good, and the Greg Lake one too, and that's probably it for me. So what am I looking forward to? Music, I suppose, in the sense it's the time of year I start listening to wintry Celtic music mostly again. I've said in the past I'm almost constantly got some sort of background non-distracting music playing while I work, and in the summer months it tends to be warmer sounding stuff like traditional Eastern or South American music, or obviously there's a lot of trip hop and lo-fi and classical music I listen to all year round, but when it gets to the winter I crack out colder sounding instruments or specific wintry playlists, and winter lo-fi hip hop as well is quite nice. That always makes it feel special somehow, particularly Celtic wintry stuff for some reason. That's what I like, and I look forward to listening to that, and to mince pies, to mulled wine throughout December because I love mulled wine. I'm really looking forward to being able to go out wearing a t-shirt, a jumper and a jacket zipped over the top and still feeling slightly cold, and wearing like thick thermal socks as well, and keeping my hands dug deep into my pockets for warmth. There's a nice cozy feeling to getting to wear all that padding and still feel the cold air around you. Cold air in general, actually. Like the other day I stopped at the shop and got out of the car, and it suddenly hit me how cold it was, how instantly I could see my breath fogging and feel the cold air against my face, and it was all a very dark and quiet night, and it just felt like, oh hang on, is this the winter now? I am veering towards a point here, which is the fact that technically there should be nothing nice about the cold air and dark nights and having to stuff your hands deep into your pockets. I can remember a couple of years back having to catch a bus at like 5:30 in the morning every week for like an hour journey into uni, and it just being freezing with this badly insulated, non-heated bus, and I was wearing like thermal socks, but my toes were still chilled, and just feeling like, my god, why can't I get warmth? It's not a nice feeling. That none of it should be a nice feeling, and previous years I've never seen it as nice at all. It's just a thing that's there, and you try to ignore the discomfort as you go about doing whatever you've got to do. But now I think back, and that image and feeling of me on a very rattly bus, freezing, tired, listening to Björk on one of my several second-hand iPod Nanos I seem to have amassed, it's a very vivid memory for me, precisely because of how just stand out that feeling of cold and tiredness and everything was, and that makes it feel special in a weird way. I don't know, maybe that's just rose-tinted glasses, looking on an old memory that wasn't that good as something positive now. It's difference, though, I think. How refreshingly different things feel when you get to the winter. You've gotten so used to feeling warm and humid and everything all through the summer, and then comes a night where suddenly you notice the cold air and you go, oh, this is new. I mean, it's not new, you get it every year, but 6 months is long enough for you to half forget what winter feels like, and so suddenly it's nice. Is that making sense? It might just be because I try to be a writer, and these vivid feelings in the simple things are important to notice when you want to write, because you want to be able to describe them at poignant moments in your story, so you observe the world more, and you notice how vivid life can feel, and even the simple things like how cold the air is on your face and how that has an effect on you. Like sometime probably about 6, 7, 8 months back, I was reading a book on Wabi Sabi, and there was this bit where the author described spending a winter in Japan on her own in a house where it snowed and just watching the snow pile up. At the time I was just reading, I didn't think much about this description, but then the other day for some reason I remembered the description and this picture I had of what it looks like in my mind, and I just sat there then thinking, bloody hell, I'd love to spend the winter in Japan on my own with snowfall. That looks amazing in my mind. A small description I'd read months ago, one I didn't even really think about at the time, and then suddenly now it just feels very fresh and clear in my mind. So I think probably what I'm talking about is cherishing the simple things. I don't know, it's striking, I guess, because the cold air feels different to what you've gotten used to the rest of the year, and so suddenly feeling it snaps you to attention, and you take in the surroundings again and your feelings and the sensation itself, and it's just like, life is going on outside my head. It wakes you up. So that's what I'm looking forward to, I think. Rediscovering all these little wintry sensations again, even the ones I probably haven't thought of yet. And all the little things that only happen at this time of year. It's like going back to an old album you love but haven't heard in years and going, I forgot how good this was, and then just falling in love with it all over again. And it will then probably be the same when the summer comes. There'll be things I'll rediscover there again, like there's always that one day where the summer hits, I find. The day where you go, right, this is definitely summer now. I guess a lot of these things I'm saying don't apply depending on where you live and what the climate's like there, but here in England, because it's so often grey and windy and a bit bleak, the summer is a really big thing. People relish the chance to actually go outside and feel the sun and actually have a barbecue for those small bits of the year where you can. And when it is finally warm, sunny weather, everyone's just so excited to see the sunny weather again that suddenly everyone is outside and parks and things are just packed with people, and it just feels exciting to see everybody about enjoying the weather. Like I have a Cypriot friend who I remember saying that sort of thing never happens in Cyprus because the weather's always pretty good, so people aren't as bothered about it, and therefore nobody is eager to get out and about in that same way. I'm really looking forward to snow as well, which we don't always get in this part of England. But I'm looking forward to that nice dilemma where there's this clean, flat slate of snow across the garden that you half don't want to spoil because it looks so picturesque, but there's also that part of you that wants to just jump and stamp all over it with footprints. Partly for the nice crunch feeling, but also I think deliberately to ruin the picturesque beauty of it. To delight in destruction. There's a fun ambivalence as to whether or not to cherish or destroy that snow, and I don't care how old I get, I will always enjoy that, I think. It's also a spiritual time of the year, it's a chance to reflect back, it's the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to sitting directly in front of this electric fan heater I've got when it feels cold. I'm looking forward to the way everyone else is excited by Christmas. Even if I'm not particularly myself, but seeing other people, particularly kids, their excitement I think helps you to see it through their eyes and rekindle some of your own excitement. That's always a nice thing. That's basically all I wanted to say though. I'm looking forward to it and hopefully it'll prove a good winter. Hopefully we can usher in a year much better than 2020 has been. Let me know what you think. If you liked the video, like the video. Subscribe if you fancy more. Support me on Patreon if you fancy even more. And otherwise, hopefully see you next time. And a special thank you goes to Brian Newbert, Devin, David Kling, Darren Burdett-Glatter, Kestrel, Gay Hitler, Samara Salsi and Sharakov2814. Thank you.